Hey there, fiber friends! I've got a surprise for you. It's my finished doodler! So this is weeks 3 and 4 together for the WestKnits 2015 Mystery KAL, the Doodler. And I have to say, after casting this on a couple months ago, I am finally finished it. So I'm going to talk to you about clues 3 and 4. First off, I will tell you that I really love the way my shawl turned out. There was a point about halfway through knitting week 3's clue where I really thought, ugh, I just need to finish this. I'm not even sure that I like it. Because I was knitting it on such a short length cable needle, everything was bunched together really tight on the needle, and so you couldn't really have any appreciation for how this shawl was going to look once you finally cast it off. And then when it came to week 4, I totally just took the easy way out. So week 1 was the striped sort of butterfly wing. Week 2 was the blue cable across the top, the large expanding cable. You can see this little bit of white here. That is where I ran out of yarn in week 1. I can't remember off the top of my head what brand of yarn this dark blue and the light blue is. It's a Vancouver dyer, and I will put the information right here. I'm sorry, I can't remember right now, but it's been months since I finished clue 1 and 2. Then the shawl sat over the Christmas holidays while I worked on Christmas gifts, and sat all through January pretty much, and I picked it back up about a week and a half ago, determined to finish it. So week 3 is the pink section, and this yarn here is Madeline Tosh. It's one of her fingering sock yarns, and the colorway is Fragrant. And I had exactly the right yardage that Stephen calls for to knit clue 3 and to knit a little bit of clue 4 using the pink yarn. But as I've discussed before, I ran out of the dark blue color in clue 1, so I had concerns that my gauge was off. Certainly with these two blue yarns, it's a thicker sock weight yarn than the Madeline Tosh is, and so I knew that I would get more yardage out of the Madeline Tosh than I did with the blue yarn. And so it's not surprising that I came closer to having enough, but still not quite. Stephen did give options in this section, so you can see how you have these eyelet yarn over holes. So there's basically 4 sections separated by the eyelet yarn over holes, and he gave the option in the pattern that you could omit the 4th section, or that alternatively, and some people did a really beautiful job alternating the colors of these 4 waves. I was originally going to maybe alternate with some of the white yarn, anticipating that I might run out of the pink yarn, but in all honesty, the go or no go on that choice came down to the fact that I was knitting the pink section in Lethbridge and then in Medicine Hat last weekend, and I didn't bring the white yarn with me. So it was either shelf this project until I got back to Calgary so that I could use the white yarn, or it was go ahead and see if I can't make a run for the finish line with the pink yarn. And I almost made it. I got all the way through the 4th section, and you have sort of short row turns, and I made it to about here, so about 2 short row turns from finishing before I ran out of the pink yarn. So what I did was I knew I was going to do my cast off in the white yarn, and it's an I-cord cast off. So I just came down to the other end, knit a full length row of the white all the way across so that the like the join, you know, when you incorporate a new color, you get the 2 colors looped together. I wanted that to be on the back of the shawl, and for this is the front now, to not show that sort of the join. So I knit a full row across with the white yarn, and then finished up my last 2 short rows in week 3, and that finished off the week 3 clue. Now I'm including week 4 in this video, not just because my shawl is done, but because I took the easy way out on week 4. Like I said, by the time I had gotten about halfway through this pink section, I thought, ooh, I don't even know if I like this project anymore. I don't know if I'm gonna like the finished project. I just need to get it off the needles because there's been time invested and it can't sit as a whip. As I've been known to do, it would have sat as a whip for years if I had left it on the needles any longer. So I opted for the easiest of the week 3 options. Again, because Stephen knew after clue 1 that people were running out of yarn, he gave 3 separate options for week 4 that used varying amounts of yarn. I won't tell you what the other 2 options were, but option 1 was just to say, skip week 4, let's just do an I-cord bind off all the way across the edge using your 3rd color, or in my case I used a 4th color just because it was what I had been working with. And because I just wanted to get this done, I said I-cord bind off. It still wasn't a small amount of knitting because this I-cord bind off occurs over, I think it was 680 stitches, and it took me a couple hours one night and then another hour the next morning to finish it off. And again, I was sick of this project when I finished the I-cord bind off. I still couldn't imagine ever really wanting to wear the shawl. Like I said, if you do knit this project, I highly recommend that you knit it on a longer than 32-inch cable needle, because I had mine all 680 stitches on a 32-inch cable needle. So you can imagine that to me, while I was working on it, basically the whole project was gathered up like this on my needle the whole time, and it just felt like there's no way this is going to be a shawl, let alone a shawl that I would want to wear. After finishing it and blocking it out, I kind of love it. So I'm going to put it on for you and show you how the final shawl looks. You want to go, I guess, I mean, maybe you can invent a better way to wear it, but you want to go with the cabled end around your neck, and then you can go ahead and wrap it around. And so the blue section actually ends up sitting really nicely around your shoulders. And I'll grab a pin and pin it closed and stand up and show you how much I love the finished shawl. So here's the finished shawl. Like I said, the blue Clue 1 section fits really perfectly around your shoulders. It's kind of surprising actually how the blue manages to fall to the same place on both sides. I'm still working on how I like it pinned. You could cross this one over, but I do like the details, sorry, pin in my mouth, the details of these rays to be kind of more in the front here. But you have like the blue, which looks very symmetrical, and then you have an asymmetrical pink section essentially once you're wearing it, that has the scalloped or wavy edges. And it's really kind of great. You've got a little bit of an extra sort of flap in the front that gives it a little bit of fun flair. But I love the way that the shawl turned out, and I'm glad that I stuck through to the end on this one because I do have a finished project that I really like. So I've worn the shawl once into work and got a lot of really great compliments on it. So one of the compliments that I got that actually kind of made me laugh was the cashier at the coffee shop at the hospital where I work said, "Oh, that's a beautiful shawl. Did your grandmother knit it for you? Or did you buy it?" And I guess there's still that sort of thing of the idea that a young person is knitting for herself is it's kind of an unusual or unlikely concept. So no, I was very proud to tell her that no, I most certainly knit it for myself. It's great wearing hand knit projects like this because you do get strangers who will compliment you on them or who will notice that it is something special, something hand knit, and will take the time to say something, to comment on it, to ask how long you've been knitting for. So so far the response on this shawl has been really great. So that's it for the Doodler. Overall, I am happy that this was my first WestKnits knit. I am excited to do some more of his patterns, and if you've been following my podcast at all, and if you have, you'll notice that it's shocking that I'm calling it a podcast, but there'll be some discussion on that idea in my next episode. But if you've been watching my podcast at all, you will know that I am ready to get started on my next WestKnits project, and that is going to be the Exploration Station. Eric from Sticks Plus Twine is hosting a knit-along for the Exploration Station. I am planning on hand spinning and dyeing my yarn, so I'm about halfway there on the spinning side of things, and then dyeing will be a relatively quick process to get that cast on next week. So that will be it for WestKnits the Doodler video updates. But I do plan on doing a small series of video updates as I work my way through the Exploration Station shawl. That's all for now. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the fun that's going on in my yarn lab.